So this recording is just to give you some examples from an event management perspective of the impact of exchange rates. So first of all, I've got an example here of if you imagine you were travelling to New York in America, and maybe you're going for a series of events or a big event over there, and it's looking at what would happen if the exchange rate between the dollar and the pound appreciates. So the pound has become worth more in terms of foreign currency, and effectively what happens then is imports become cheaper. So I've got an example here of using the metro in New York, and in the first row in this you can see the dollar/pound exchange rate. So it starts off before appreciation at $2 to the pound, and after appreciation we get $2.10 to the pound. In the next row, the price of a metro car stays the same in terms of US dollars, but in terms of you buying it, if you were thinking about it in terms of what it translates to in cost in pounds, before appreciation it's £1.50, but after appreciation it becomes cheaper, it becomes £1.43. So actually effectively pay less to travel around. So this can actually encourage this, us to go to other countries. And then if we look at an example the other way around, because at the same time as us going to other countries more, exports become more expensive. So people coming to the UK, so American visitors coming here, things become more expensive. So we can see in that diagram in the table at the bottom, the dollar exchange rate stays the same. The price of an Oyster card in the UK stays the same. But in terms of what Americans would pay in dollars, it goes from $13.20 a day to $13.86. So it becomes more expensive for them. And therefore, if you're thinking about attracting international visitors to an event, it becomes less attractive for them because their costs will go up. And you can follow this through, if we look at an exchange rate appreciation in that top row there, you can see that imports are cheaper and it increases imports, but exports become more expensive. So if foreign visitors were coming into the UK, it becomes more expensive to them, and therefore there's a decrease. And what we see in terms of the impact on aggregate demand is net exports fall and aggregate demand falls. But when exchange rates depreciate, if we're looking at import prices, they become more expensive to us, and there's a decrease. So there's less likelihood of us, say, travelling to another country for an event because it suddenly becomes more expensive for us. On the other hand, exports become cheaper and they increase. And so what the UK sees is net exports rise and aggregate demand rises, and that would include visitors coming to the UK from elsewhere. And if we look at this in terms of festival attendance, so on the left here you can see that if the pound buys more dollars, or maybe and other currencies, so it might be the euro, festivals in other countries, international festivals, attract UK residents, and it becomes a UK import because we go and spend our money in another country. On the other hand, if the dollar buys more, or other currencies buy more relative to the pound, a festival like Glastonbury, that starts attracting more international visitors. And I know from European friends that when the euro is strong against the pound, they are very attracted to coming to the UK because it becomes relatively cheaper for them. So, we have to see that event tourism is in part of these balance of payments. And event tourism is an export when foreign visitors come to the UK for an event, and it gives us export earnings, and it helps with balance of payment credits, and it's part of this demand we see for pounds. So on the other hand, event tourism imports, which is when we might go, UK residents go to other countries for tourism or events, this is an import. Okay, and it's a balance of payment debt and part of the supply of pounds. So you need to get these two things sorted out in terms of imports and exports here. So just a sort of general note about events and tourism. International travel is quite fairly significantly impacted by UK events provision, probably particularly business events, but also leisure events. And the other thing is that events and this more particularly probably the leisure events, shape the tourism destination image and the experience and the destination offering. So they're part of the attractiveness of the UK. So, we see not only international tourism, but also domestic tourism influenced by events, because actually we're attracted to stay in the UK because of the events that take place here. But outbound tourism can also be influenced by events. So sometimes we're keen to go to other countries to attend events. And that can be, I've said there, it's not just sort of, say something like a big festival in another country. It can be family events, life stage events, conferences, sport events. There's all sorts of different kind of events that might attract us to go to other countries. So things to do. The value of the pound has actually been quite low relative to other countries for a while. And, you might see there's news stories on this, and it could be quite a good assignment topic for assignment 2. If you want to understand this better, actually, I think the Tribe book is particularly good on this because it talks about it in terms of tourism, and that probably helps you get it a bit more. But Sloman and Garrett is also good on this. But most economic textbooks will have something on this.